Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Carrie. I'm a 29-year-old vegan living in Bristol in the UK, and I have been vegan for about 8.5 years now. I live with my fiance who is not vegan, but he does eat vegan at home with me. So if you're new to the channel, I make videos all about living life as frugally as I can in the UK as a vegan. So I try and keep my grocery budget as low as I possibly can. I do that by shopping when there are sales on, by utilising what I have in my cupboards, fridge and freezer before I go out shopping, and also shopping around for the absolute best deals that I can find. This week we are doing a vegan barbecue. It is vegan barbecue season in the UK. It's absolutely beautiful weather here at the moment. Some might say too hot, but definitely very warm, not what we're used to at all. Those people in the US who are sat at home with high heat but aircon, I am jealous. We have no air conditioning in the UK at all, so everything is very hot. So it is a perfect time to be outside and having a barbecue. I wanted to show that it is more than possible to go to a barbecue as a vegan and still have really tasty, lovely food and have lots of options. So this week, I'm going to take you into the shop to have a little look at what meat alternatives that are available to have on your barbecue. I'm also going to make a few side dishes at home myself that you could take along with you to a barbecue. And I have to say, those dishes are all tried and tested by me and taste so good. So you're in for a treat. There is a little element to this video that is a bit of a fail, so we'll get there when we get there. But first, let's see what's available in the shops and what I decided to make for our vegan barbecue. Starting in Morrison's, we have the Meatless Farm burgers. These were on offer for £2. I have tried these before and they were pretty good, so we'd recommend those. And then the Plant Revolution burgers, which we did end up buying. These are 8 burgers for only £2. They're also in the 3 for £5 offer range. These burgers are really quite thin, so they're perfect for if you're going to do a double burger or if you're doing a barbecue and going to be eating more than one thing. Then obviously there are the Linda McCartney quarter pounders and Best Burgers. I've never tried their Best Burger range. And then of course the Beyond Meat sausages and burgers as well. We've also got a jalapeno burger out now, which I haven't tried before. These are normally a bit out of my price range if I'm being honest, but if they are on offer then I'll get them. And Plant Revolution also have a chilled burger for £2, and then the Beyond burgers are a little bit cheaper from the fridge at £3.75. Now those cauldron sausages aren't vegan, they're only veggie, so don't be caught out. Then you've got the Richmond, obviously. And now we're just in Lidl. They have got some fresh stuff. Some of it is vegetable based and some of it is fake meat. So if you're not a huge fan of fake meat, then you've got like the veggie based options like these beetroot burgers as well, which are pretty good, and they're 2 for £3.50. They've got the Richmond sausages too. First thing that I'm making is tofu feta. If you've watched my tofu video from a few weeks ago, you will have seen this already. So it's a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, about half a teaspoon of salt, and then a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of Italian mixed herbs. I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but any sort of light oil will do just fine there. Then I've also got 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, before I then add 1 teaspoon of miso paste, and this is the white miso paste, and then I'm doing 1 teaspoon of lemon juice as well before giving it all a really good mix. You can also add or take away seasonings, obviously, just whatever is your taste preference. And then I'm taking a block of tofu. This is just the Aldi tofu, and I'm cutting into chunks. Although I do think this works best if you freeze the tofu first and then thaw it, because it takes on a lot more of the dressing. So that would be my top tip for this recipe, and it comes out so tasty, honestly, really creamy, delicious flavour. I could not recommend it more. So now I am just going to be making a potato salad to go along with our barbecue. So I've got these baby potatoes. They were on offer in Lidl this week, so that was really handy. I am cooking all of these up, but I didn't use all of them for the potato salad, and I just added a little bit of salt and then boiling water, and then I boiled them for 25 minutes, which is a bit longer than some people would, but I like them to be a bit softer. And then I just go ahead and run them under cold water so that they're okay for me to touch, and then cut them into quarters. Some of the smaller ones I only did in half, but generally into quarters. And then I took some mayonnaise and at first I added 2 tablespoons, but I think I did add in a further half a tablespoon as well. It's all just sort of by eye here. Oh no, I did 3 tablespoons. There we go. And then I added some apple cider vinegar again, only the smallest amount, and then probably about a quarter of a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. It does add a little something, so I wouldn't leave this out, but I do a small amount because it's a very strong flavour. And then I gave all of that a really good mix around and just make sure that all of the potatoes were nice and coated. This is going to last really well in the fridge and just, yeah, taste delicious. And then I took a spring onion and a half and I just chopped it into little slices like this, and I'm going to add this raw to the potato salad mix and give this all a mix in. It gives it a little bit of crunch and obviously tastes amazing as well. So again, I wouldn't skip this part. Then I've just got some fresh parsley here. You can use dried as well, but it looks a bit nicer if it's fresh. And also the taste is very strong if it's fresh. And again, just added that in and gave it all a stir. And this, like I say, is going to last really well in the fridge. I would say around 5 days for anything that I'm making in this video. I certainly wouldn't push anything past a week. But yeah, that is how it came out. I think it looks pretty good and it was very tasty. So next I am just making an Asian peanut salad. So I've got 2 bundles here of udon noodles, which I'm adding to a pan. I'm adding some boiling water, and these simmered for 5 minutes before I drained them and rinsed them. And then I've just got the remainder of the edamame here, probably about 100 grams of edamame. I added some hot water to it to thaw them. And then I've got some greens from a spring onion, and I've also got about a quarter of a cucumber here that I just cut into strips. And I'm going to add this to the noodles after I've made the sauce and everything and stir them in. This gives, again, a nice crunch and also a nice freshness to the salad as well. So this is, again, something that I would really, really recommend. So for the sauce, I am adding in some peanut butter. So I have got a tablespoon here. I'm going to add another one, and then later on I do add one more. I don't think I filmed that, but just kind of eyeball this, I would say, depending on how many noodles you've got, is how much that you want to do. And then did a tablespoon of sesame oil, toasted sesame oil that is, and then 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. I could probably done a tablespoon and a half maybe of that, but it still tasted very good. And then I added in some lemon juice, which was just a little teaspoon, and then I added 2 tablespoons of water along with just a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of the crushed chili flakes as well. I did add in quite a bit more water after I'd given this a mix. I just eyeballed it though, I didn't measure it unfortunately, but you'll see the consistency that I end up making here as well. So I probably added in at least 4 or 5 more tablespoons of water throughout. Then I'm just going to take the noodles, which I have rinsed so they're cold already, to get rid of the starch as well, and then I'm just mixing that all into the sauce. You want this saucier than you think because the noodles will absorb it in the fridge as well, so you want to make sure that there's enough that they don't go dry. And then I'm just adding in the cucumber and the spring onion as well and coating it really, really well. And then I am going to add in edamame as well. So like I say, I think this was about 100 grams of edamame, 150 grams maybe. It was just whatever I had left in my freezer, and gave this a really good mix as well. The thing I'll say, when this is stored, the edamame do tend to go to the bottom. So if you're dishing it up, make sure that you get some of that edamame from the bottom as well. I then garnished with the remainders of those spring onion tops, and this is how it came out. It tasted absolutely delicious, could not recommend this more. This is what we ended up using for our meats for the barbecue. So we had the bangin burgers and the kimchi koftas from Aldi. This is what we were aiming for. We went to the park and we were going to do a barbecue. So this was sort of Instagram versus reality. So this is what the park looked like. It was beautiful. We had all our food with us and then realised that we couldn't actually use the barbecue there because it was a fire risk. So we ended up bringing it all home and making up our plates at home, and this is how it turned out. Okay, so as you can see there, it was a complete fail to try and have the barbecue outdoors at the park. We had brought what we thought was a heat-proof, fireproof sort of thing to take with us and put the barbecue on, but it turned out it was not as heat-proof as we thought, and we were going to end up with charred grass. So we quickly put it out and we stayed and had the nacho chips and dip that we had brought with us, but then it was time to go home and cook the rest of the food. So we did just use the grill at home. So a bit of a fail in that regard. But if you have a garden, if you've got a barbecue at home, then I'm sure you're on much more solid ground than us taking a portable one with us to a park and realising there was nowhere where we weren't going to be setting fire to grass. So lesson learned for sure, but we did still have some tasty food. I would say that the sides that I made, so the vegan potato salad, the satay style noodle salad, both delicious. The vegan feta that I made then went onto skewers, as you saw in the footage, with some pepper and with some courgette as well. It was very tasty, and the tofu grilled really nicely, so I'm sure it would have been the same on the barbecue as well. But the flavour of the feta didn't translate as much as when you just eat it as it is before it's cooked. So definitely, I would say still one to make, but also make sure you keep some aside to have some uncooked as well, because that dressing that makes the tofu taste like feta is honestly so yummy. I could literally like mop that up with bread. So good. The burgers themselves were really nice. Like I said in the footage, those are quite thin burgers from Morrison's, so I think it's really good one to have at a barbecue with you because you are inevitably having more than one thing. But if you were just having a burger meal at home, then I'd probably double up or use a thicker burger. Perhaps. We did have another fail, unfortunately, and that was the kimchi koftas. Now, this is a very personal fail, so you may still buy them and love them. So this is just personal taste. Myself and my fiancé, we do not like coriander. It tastes soapy, it kind of just overpowers a meal entirely, and we're just not about it. Didn't realise, and I don't think I expect kimchi to have coriander in it ever, but these koftas, you took a bite in and all you could taste was the coriander. It was so strong. So if you're a coriander lover, get the kimchi koftas. But for us, they ended up being wasted. We literally couldn't eat them because it was so strong. So that is a lesson learned as well, that sometimes we might be tempted by new products, things that we haven't tried before, or, you know, things that might be a bit fun to have on a barbecue. But if we just stuck with the burgers, classic sausage, that type of thing, we would have had a nicer time than trying those kimchi koftas. So lesson learned there as well. But overall, we just still had a really nice dinner. I think if you're going along to a barbecue, then some of the things that I made at home, or even those skewers as well, could easily travel to a friend's house, to a barbecue elsewhere as well. And then, you know, a potato salad, no one's going to be like, oh, I can't have that because it's vegan, because it's just a potato salad. There's nothing special about it. So you can be providing those vegan sides for everyone involved and doing a tiny little bit of vegan activism when you're there so that everyone is eating the vegan option sides. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have already been barbecuing for months, or if this hot weather has inspired you like it has us. If you liked this video, I would like it so much if you subscribe to the channel and stuck around for new videos. Leave me a comment if you did like the video, and of course give it that thumbs up as well. I'm also over on Instagram, and I do try and post there as often as I can with little sneak peeks into my week. I post deals there that I might not get into a full YouTube video as well, so it is unique content over there. So I'd really recommend you enjoy the videos, then do join me over there too. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.